To celebrate 75 years of broadcasting here in San Diego, we've been looking back at the early days here.
In 1984, to mark our 35th anniversary, anchor Michael Tuck gave an in-depth look at what it took to produce our 5 p.m. newscast.
This is, of course, just the beginning of what you see at home every night. But the people behind the scenes in the Channel 8 newsroom, this is the biggest newscast of the day.
Okay, let me know if it's worth more than a VO, if it's worth a silent sound or a package.
What the assignment editor does essentially is get people going. Sends reporters and photographers to the stories he believes are worth covering. And yes, things do get hectic.
Cameras break, tapes are eaten by machines, and they have to go back out and reshoot things. Cars break down. People get sick in the middle of the day and have to go home.
People on the desk get information from a number of local agencies. They monitor the radio scanners and keep in touch with the crews in the field. Most reporters are in the process of setting up their interviews by the time the 5 o'clock producer arrives.
So I'll sit down and go through all my wire copy and go through the newspapers, try to be done with all of that and have a good idea of A, what's going on, and B, what kinds of stories I can use to bolster stories we're already doing before we go into the morning meeting.
Resources are pooled at the morning meeting. The assignment editor explains the day's lineup to Van Housen and the other producers.
Adults only, we're going to run as an expanded. She's finishing up that.
After some discussion, the news director decides where each story will air. Still to be worked out by the producer, story order, story length, which stories will have pictures, which will not, and reading and writing assignments. Instructions appear on the rundown. Anyone having anything to do with the 5 o'clock program gets a copy. Unfortunately, it's at this point, when the day seems to be running smoothly, that the rundown starts to change. It's Murphy's Law. If it can go wrong, it will.
I'm at court, and the attorney is saying now that he doesn't think that this might necessarily be wrapped up today.
The sorrow story does eventually fall through.
Well, why don't we just can it and I'll use Jesse's story?
Cornea Bank.
Cornea Bank.
Cornea Bank, so now you're putting me under a lot of pressure.
And so Jesse Macias' story, a story not even written yet. Cornea Bank is now running in place of Asaros on the 5.
Some days it is hard to concentrate because there's so much going on around you.
All of us wear makeup. Leitner says I enter the makeup room through the emergency entrance. I don't think that's true.
Nuclear war. Something left.
We're trying to figure out what part of the building a lot of that was filmed in.
Yeah. I can't quite place it. I think we're in a kind of a Frankenstein building. There's different parts built in different eras, and I don't know where that was.
Yeah, because we don't have I can't think of like what has little cubicles like that.
And all of our equipment is smaller now, and we're all doing more things than just one assignment.
Yeah,
It's
like
changed
this.
a lot.
This operates our teleprompter. There used to be a person who used to do that.
Not even close
Now it's
anymore.
us.